Hey there, it's Anonymous Tea, where we spill the tea anonymously. Hello, 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 everyone. Hello, YouTubers. Hope you guys are all having an amazing day today, sending good vibes, sending positivity, sending blessings, and good energy to each and every single one of you. Thank you so much for tuning in. So, today we are talking about Katt Williams completely setting the world on fire yesterday. He was on Club Shay Shay, which is Shannon Sharpe's new viral podcast that pretty much trends and kind of really dominates the headlines after whoever he has on his show, whether it was Brittany Renner, whether it was Kirk Franklin, every single guest he's had pretty much has been building up to go viral from some of their most poignant comments and all the things that they're saying in these interviews. And Katt Williams has done the longest interview in history with Shannon Sharpe. His interview was longer, you guys, than The Color Purple. like no lies. Like it literally is longer than The Color Purple. Basically, Katt Williams, he went scorch earth. He let have on all of his fellow comedians. He exposed, some of the behind the scenes in the entertainment industry as far as like how they want these black men, specifically black comedians, to either put on a dress or partake in homosexual acts. And Katt Williams was very adamant that, he will go back to, these writers for different scripts and say, hey, if there's, any type of homosexual stuff in here, or you want me to put on a dress, I'm not doing this movie, right? And originally he was talking about, his roles on, Friday After Next and all of the things, and his beef with Rickey Smiley, because Rickey Smiley, for whatever reason, was trying to say that he was supposed to be Money Mike, and I don't believe him. But Katt Williams went in and said basically that, Rickey, Smiley, and Tyler Perry, do a great job as women when they're in dresses, and I was done. It was a good joke. He went in on Cedric the Entertainer because he was trying to say that his infamous car joke that, kind of catapulted Katt Williams to kind of have people like have his name in their mouths for comic view. They ended up using that as part of like their ads for people to tune in for the show. And then he had said that Cedric had used basically the same thing, but just used a different song for his comedy routine for the Kings of Comedy, and closed it out of the show the same as Katt Williams did. And so then Cedric the Entertainer gets on and says that he's been doing that for years, it's a staple, he doesn't have to steal from everyone, but everyone keeps receipts on deck, you guys. And so today people were posting receipts of other jokes that were allegedly stolen that Cedric the Entertainer has, I guess, repurposed, whatever. Then also he went in on Steve Harvey and just basically called him a fraud. Basically said that he cannot act, basically said, went in on him for having a man unit. And said, this is why he's doing so many shows, is because he can't act, he can't be a movie star. And then he said he was trying to be shady and trying to sabotage Bernie Mac and try to get Bernie Mac's Ocean's 11 role, you guys. Make it make sense. Now, I've heard rumors over the years that, that there was some beef as it pertains to Steve Harvey and Bernie Mac, but it was primarily due to the jealousy because everybody loves Bernie Mac. Like, he's hilarious, and he was so far ahead of his time on everything that he touched was like just turning to gold, and he's so missed. He is so missed because I just love watching back like his movies and comedy specials, and it seems as well a lot of the comedians, you never hear anybody say anything bad about Bernie Mac. Like ever, and including in this interview with Katt Williams. He also, talked about a few other comedians, also talked about Diddy and saying that, now I think people are misinterpreting the quote because he said that he was offered $50 million 4 different times, and people thought it was from Diddy. But if you know the history of Bad Boy and Diddy's artists, none of those people have $50 million. Anyways, I think he was talking about Hollywood, the upper people in Hollywood offering him $50 million for various projects on 4 separate occasions, and he turned it down because he knows what comes with that. Remember Dave Chappelle exposed that too when he was at the height of the Chappelle show and they wanted to offer him something crazy to come back but I think there was rules in place on who he could and couldn't do jokes about. And remember that set him off to Africa for an extended period of time. I think there's something to that. I truly believe there is something to that as far as Hollywood picking and choosing certain people that they're going to put on a pedestal. Then he went in on Chris Tucker and saying that, this is not the same Chris Tucker of old, when they were talking about doing the sequels to Friday. And then Katt Williams said that it seems like he still is on good terms with Ice Cube and said that he was supposed to write the next Friday, but then, unfortunately we lost John Witherspoon and all the things, so it's not going to be the same. And then that's when he said, Chris Tucker isn't, Smokey from back in the day. This is a different Chris Tucker who's a lot more Hollywood now. Talked about Michael Jackson, has a nickname for him and just went in. It was a lot going on, you guys. I alleged that Harvey Weinstein, wanted to have oral sex in front of all these people, and Katt Williams turned him down. Just a lot to really unpack and digest. This is the opposite extreme of what Kanye did when he tried to expose the industry. The difference is the businesses that Kanye had, like his Adidas deal and everything else that made him a billionaire, they were able to immediately take that away because of who the people he was going after were very powerful people. The people that Katt Williams are going after is primarily Black Hollywood and fellow Black comedians. So you're really not going to, hear too much backlash or anything like that. The only way that something would happen or something suspect would happen is in the event he goes after, some of these big white comedians or somebody big white that's in this entertainment industry. Sorry, it is what it is. For whatever reason, this industry does not care about, Black entertainers tearing each other down, Black entertainers trying to sabotage each other. Nobody cares about that. They find it entertaining. They find it a great distraction. But if you come for, any of these white people, especially these people who are corrupt, oh, no. They will shut you down with a quickness. They will shut you down with the quickness and make you apologize and all of these things. And it's sad. It's really sad and it's unfortunate, but this is what happens. But then we'll have an expose, like an Epstein scandal, a Weinstein scandal that'll come out years later. And it's like, well, why were you shutting us down then? Right? So I think a lot of things Katt Williams was saying was truthful because a lot of people responded. Right? But Rickey Smiley didn't really give the response I was looking for. He kind of just said that his family was hurt by his comment. Yeah, and just kind of really didn't address, anything of importance. Kevin Hart responded to Katt Williams because Katt Williams basically called him a industry plant and that he had like immediate success, which is unheard of, especially for Black comedians. Like he just went in and basically said that all the scripts that he was offered, that Kevin Hart doing was offered to Katt Williams first, Kevin Hart, they've had beef, but today he kind of just did a tweet, threw a little shade, but really just focused in on promoting his new Netflix film that's going to be coming out here shortly. And, basically said, because he was like, how do you just come on the scene and then just immediately get soul plane, right? And just get all these, specials or whatever. And then try to throw shade that Kevin Hart never had any sold out shows. But Katt was also bigging himself up and, talking about how he's had over 14 specials and that not a lot of comedians can say that. Really just talks about how he is trying to just navigate through this industry. I feel like he didn't talk too much, though, about himself and certain things. He took a lot of shots at others, but maybe Shannon Sharpe can have him back. and he can just do like a whole thing about his life, because I felt there were opportunities where Katt Williams was dropping some very good gems, some very good information, and Shannon Sharpe just was either, he was so focused on the cue cards and just asking certain questions that he really needed to dive in on certain things that Katt Williams was saying that were missed opportunities. And also, a couple of things I noticed was a couple of times Shannon Sharpe was picking up on the analogies that Katt Williams kept making to try to relate what he went through as a comedian, what he's gone through in the entertainment industry, compared to what Shannon Sharpe would experience as a former NFL player. And I think the first couple of times he was picking up on it, but then after that, I think Shannon Sharpe was just lost. He was lost in the sauce, you guys, and just kept getting drinks. And then the other thing I noticed was Shannon Sharpe was kind of acting like he was clueless when Katt Williams was exposing, how sometimes the industry wants you to do certain things that are kind of against your views, against your morals, and all these things in order for you to achieve a certain level of success, in order for you to receive a certain amount of money in this industry and all of that. He also went in on Diddy, saying, Diddy, you have to say no vehemently to Diddy in these parties, and then he'll leave you alone. And that's kind of what, 50 Cent said, right? He gave the stories as well about, his interactions with Diddy and how he was one and done at a Diddy party and hid in the bathroom where all the women were. So everybody can't be lying on Diddy. Everyone cannot be lying on Diddy. The difference between now and then is back then, Diddy was making money for everybody, so there was an incentive to protect him. And allegedly there were goons as well, who, if you tried to speak out against Diddy at the time, you were going to come up missing, or something was going to allegedly happen, right? Or your career was never going to be the same again, right? But what Cassie has done has really opened up the floodgates. And had people did what Cassie did back then, I think we would have a different conversation about Diddy and his legacy, right? Cassie was so detailed in her lawsuit that if they were going to try to, make this go to trial and have depositions and all these things, even more things would have been exposed. Even more potential A-lister celebrities would be named in this lawsuit in the event that they were also partaking or, around when some of these acts and these allegations that Cassie made were taking place. So, therefore, Diddy had no choice but to quickly settle within 24 hours, right? But overall, like I said, I'm going to go back and watch it again because there's so many things that, you just, pick up on, and then there's other things you missed the first time around. But it's going to be on track to have the most viewed show on Shannon Sharpe's channel. I think currently Steve Harvey is, but it's going to be Katt Williams. Katt Williams went viral everywhere. He is on all the publications today. He is in everybody's mouths today on different things that he said, right? And some people will try to diminish it and say that, oh, Katt Williams is crazy, or, oh, Katt Williams has this issue and that issue and all the things. And he kind of talked about that as well, that sometimes people will do that. They'll throw out the you're crazy or you're on drugs to discredit you if you're, saying certain things that are true. Or if you turn down, this big money, these big roles and all the things, and they want to make you look like you're the weirdo, right? So a lot was there. I know some people are going to be like, well, he was throwing too much shade and all this and that. I think in the context of who he specifically was going after, and the reason he was going so hard at certain people was because he felt people were blatantly lying on his name, right? So this was his platform and his opportunity to set the record straight on that. And it seems he felt the most disrespected by Cedric the Entertainer and Rickey Smiley in particular. And, he also, really talked about, the, several comedians, black comedians that he has put on his tours, and, has really looked out for several comedians, and really talked about starting out how he had nothing, how he had to live with his family in a trailer basically, because this was their shot to make it, and he already had like an issue, his teeth were knocked out, and he had like a tumor in his jaw, so it was make or break for him as well. So it was a lot of, important gems. Of course, the beef, the drama, the shots that he was taking at others are going to dominate the headlines. But there were a lot of things that Katt Williams did say that I felt, was very knowledgeable, was very insightful. Because people forget, like, the intelligence level of Katt Williams and kind of everything that he's achieved. Right? Because we just look at him as, a comedian and the times he's made us laugh in different movies and TV shows and all of the things. But there's a lot with his history. And he was mad at people who were like stealing his life story, to try to make themselves pop. So I understand people who are saying, oh, don't tear people down. And he just seems bitter and mad at everybody. But if he's had to watch 3 or 4 comedians go on, Shannon Sharp's show, Club Shay Shay, and completely lie on his name, I mean, he has the right to respond, doesn't he? He has the right to, set the record straight. Now, as far as telling other people's business and saying that Earthquake allegedly is illiterate, that wasn't necessary. That was not necessary at all. However, it is not something that is uncommon, as we have heard some of our favorite musicians and entertainers are illiterate. So it's not like a breaking news type of situation. There are people who are illiterate in this industry, but again, if they can work around that, or if you're still a genius besides that, they'll put you out there. They'll still, promote you, right? So overall, like I said, there's a lot there. Yes, he was throwing shade, but he also was spitting facts on some things. And this is why he does not have Jamie Foxx money and, Cedric the Entertainer money and Steve Harvey money and all of the things. Because he's not willing to, do some of the things that Hollywood wants him to allegedly do in order for him to get those $50 million contracts. So on one end, he's saying, hey, I respect, keeping my morals and my integrity, but I'm also going to throw shade and expose you, right? Because he said that people look down whenever he is in a room or he's somewhere and he's around like a lot of the black celebrities, because he knows that, they know he didn't take any shortcuts to get to where he was. So he's perfectly fine, doing his own independent thing. He's perfectly fine continuing to do these big comedy tours, and that'll be that. But, he's not just going to take $50 million to put on a dress or do, something that's against his beliefs or against what he wants, or have certain inappropriate things that are part of the script that he wants taken out. He's not going to partake in that. So, for those reasons, you have to kind of, even if you didn't like some of the things that he said, if Steve Harvey's your fave, or Cedric the Entertainer's your favorite, Kevin Hart's your favorite, whatever, not everything he was saying wasn't really that far off, right? Because a lot of things that he said, like I said, other comedians, other people have said that as well. So it's just more so people are upset because they weren't expecting this to go viral, right? They were expecting people to dismiss this because of the things that have been reported on Katt Williams in the past. But when you actually do the research and look up the receipts and look up what he actually was talking about, he's not completely wrong, right? So 2 things can be true, right? He can have, he can be this brilliant person, when he's on point and all the things, and maybe he had some other type of stuff that was going on, when things were not going right for his career, and, Hollywood took advantage of that and just completely, smeared his name. But, you know, some of the things, if he felt that he was disrespected by his fellow comedians, if he felt that, you know, this is supposed to be a fraternity of everybody, you know, banding together and looking out for each other, and he's telling you that's not the case, that there are different cliques, that there are different people who specifically hang out together, because he also had an issue with Steve Harvey, because he said that Steve Harvey was telling other comedians, you know, the opportunities that Katt Williams was getting, and basically told them to go out and, you know, audition for those same opportunities to try to knock Katt Williams off. So, you know, so there's a lot there. And even with the Rickey Smiley stuff, you know, Katt Williams is saying, okay, how is my role supposed to be yours if, you know, several hundred people auditioned for this role? And why is it in my contract I don't do a film with you unless you have a dress on? And then the next movie you have on a dress. So it's not, he wasn't wrong in what he was saying. It's just that he struck a nerve with certain people in a hit dog war holler. Right. But nonetheless, there are people who, of course, are going to take up for Kevin Hart, or going to take up for Steve Harvey, or going to take up for Cedric the Entertainer. That is no surprise. Then there was a weird comment he made about some of these comedians being married to, quote, weird-looking light-skinned women. And I was like, what? So that was interesting. And there was another comment he made that I will not repeat, but I feel like I'm going to hear it again this year. Maybe I'll say it later and just kind of bleep it out and kind of give you the gist of it, that I found funny as well. But that's kind of my overall like take. I felt like there were some gems, there were some truth bombs that were in there. Of course, people are going to focus on the shots that he took at other comedians, but there were a lot of things that were insightful about his life, about different things that he has gone through. It wasn't just a complete, like, you know, shot here, shot there, shot everywhere on all these people. And even a lot of the people he took shots at was because they took a shot at him first. So it was basically his opportunity to finally just have the floor and just let everything out. But I will say, as a critique to Shannon, yes, he likes to stick to the facts and stick to kind of what's on his cue cards. But I felt there were opportunities he could have gone off script and dived into a little bit deeper some of the things that Katt Williams was dropping, right? And I felt those were missed opportunities. So I'm hoping that there's another interview, there's another platform that Katt Williams goes on that, you know, another person potentially can really pull that information out. Because I feel like there's a lot that Katt Williams left out there. So there's that. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. Please do not forget to like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the notification bell so you're notified the moment I post new content on my channel. And with that being said, I'll talk to you guys again very soon.